You have mentioned a few times that kids who are obese from a very young age cannot fully recover, even if they start to exercise and eat properly in adulthood. This makes sense to me at an intuitive level, but I have close to zero training in biology. Could you expand a little bit on the mechanisms? Why is it so difficult to undo the damage?
Okay.
Go for it.
I would say there may be many, many things here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm going to identify 3 and say there may be many others, but I'm pretty sure these 3 exist.
Cool. Let's do it.
One, fat cells are not totally unique in this way, but they are specialized in the sense that they get filled and depleted rather than you make more cells and make less cells. So once the cells are made, depleting them doesn't necessarily eliminate them. And
but you can make more and you don't tend to lose them.
Right.
When you lose fat on your body, the existing cells get smaller. When you gain fat, especially when you're younger,
right.
You're actually
make more
accruing
cells.
more fat
so
cells.
The point is,
you come of age with more fat cells on you than you would have had if you came of age slender.
Right.
Yeah.
So the point is the cells are a reservoir. Is the reservoir full is a different question than did you dig the reservoir? And so the kids who have dug this reservoir.
It's a tough metaphor, but okay.
But the point is the reservoir is there.
Yeah.
And, so the point is the reservoir is there always ready to be filled.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing, and this is related to that point, has to do with epigenetic informational signals.
Mm-hmm.
To the extent that whatever the signals that you got in youth say, hey, lean times are coming, so put on some fat so you're prepared to deal with them.
Our epigenetics being unable to see McDonald's.
Right.
Right.
Our epigenetic, well, who knows? I mean, the contents of our food are fucked up with respect to the messages. The way in which food comes at us suggests things about our environment. We're just not built to read the environment well.
Right.
And so the point is you've got those messages into the system. It's very,
keep accruing. Accrue when you can.
Let's put it to you this way. There's a relationship to PTSD here. If you go to war,
mm-hmm.
right? And then suddenly you are confronted with people dying in front of you, having, their limbs ripped off, they're blown apart, right? Now you have a message about what life can be like, right? Then you go home
mm-hmm.
and you can't unlearn that lesson because the point is you actually know that can happen. It can be right in front of you.
Yeah.
And so
of course you're jumpy when a car backfires.
Right.
Yeah.
Your brain does not understand that part of that was geographic and that you got on an airplane flight that, took 8 hours, right, and transported you a third of the way around the world to a place where people's limbs are being blown off. And you now need to encode, I got on another plane and another 8-hour trip took me to a place where that's very hard to imagine happening.
So you have a third thing to get to.
Yeah.
Right. But if you have it in your head, Joan here says, thank God for liposuction. LOL, Joan, I was actually wondering if the autophagy that the intermittent fasting people talk about might help with this. Like, is it possible?
Yes.
I've wondered this, but I don't know the answer. I don't know that anyone knows the answer. And if they do, I don't know what they know.
Yeah. I think the only thing that we can say is that the system picks up information and that you and I have been focused for a long time on the question of what information would you want to put into the system to retrain it.
Exactly.
Right. Because that might be much more important than, increasing the rate at which you burn calories.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. The cake is more than just the cake. It's sending all sorts of messages, both in terms of actually what it's made of, and when you eat it and what else you eat with it. And what you ate after it, and what you did afterwards and before, and all of these things are part of the message that your body is receiving. It's not just calories in, fat on, or whatever the stupid, super simplistic equation that we were being fed.
There is a calories in versus calories out thing, which is true, but the problem is it doesn't overwhelm hunger, for example, right? So there's a part of you that if it's trying to maintain a weight because it thinks you're facing a famine, right, you may be able to
and it's
try to avoid the calories,
it's going to be super efficient about grabbing everything it can. If you starved yourself in order to lose weight, you're going to gain weight faster when you stop starving yourself.
Right, because you've just sent the message that food can be very
as
scarce.
Opposed to intermittent fasting, like eating really well, but spending some amount of time regularly without any inputs at all, so that your body has to do some cleanup, like has to look for resources elsewhere.
Right. And, one of the things that may be true about intermittent fasting, in fact, I would test this hypothesis if this were my area, is that it may not just be the number of hours that you fast, it may be the regularity with which you eat. Because at the point that you can deliver food at 8 o'clock every night, then the point is what are the chances you're delivering food at 8 o'clock every night in a food scarce environment? They're zero, right? So the information about the regularity of food availability may be useful in a way that we haven't spotted yet, because it's a second order, not a first order effect.
Yeah. What was your third point?
My third thing was going to be the developmental patterning. Right. And the problem is we are born with an indefinitely large range of ways to be, and these things get rapidly narrowed. And so if you think about, why a woman who dates has a type and he's the same wrong kind of guy every time, right?
Yep.
In part, it's very easy to say, well, stop dating people like that. But the point is, there's something about that guy that they know how to interact with. And it may be like, well, if you're not happy as an English speaker, speak French. Oh, it's like, well, great. In principle, I don't know how to speak French. Right. So the point is, the relationship to food and storing calories might be hard to unlearn at many different levels, including, developmental behavioral stuff.
Hey guys, that was a clip from our monthly private Q&A that you can get access to at my Heather Hying's Patreon. And you can also get access there to all of the past paid subscriber content. So please consider joining us there.
Did you mention that these private Q&As are the key to living a better life and living to tell the tale?
I forgot to do that. These private Q&As are in fact the key to living a better life and what?
Living to tell the tale.
Living to tell the tale. Go ahead, live to tell the tale. Join us there.
See ya.